what is the most you've given a family?
See, it matters. If the kid's nice and he's a pro about it, I don't know, 50,000.
How often do you have to remind your kids, because that's what they are, to have fun?
I haven't said that once. Winning is fun.
When I created this platform, this is what I had in mind. Stories are going to break out, and giving an opportunity for those players, coaches, parents, players within the realm of high school sports to say their piece. I don't know, man. That intro video goes kind of hard. That's a nice intro right there. Guys, welcome back to Fattal Factor. I'm Tarek Fattal. Thank you for being here. Guys, just know that there's always kind of just stuff going on in the background here, man. So if you don't hear me very well or something seems off to you, throw it in the chat, because the chances are like maybe there's something on the back end. We've kind of had some technical difficulties. Just know it's just me back here on the ones and twos. There's no there's no like production team or anything like that. So we appreciate you being here. I see the numbers growing in the chat. I did want to throw in a little something there. I don't know if it'll take off, but it's like a chat goal. And what I've done is I've made it. I'm not even really sure how it works, but I think if you want to join, I put in like a burrito raffle. So I think if you donate $5 or more to the channel, then I can take all those that donated, and then I am going to pick somebody and I will buy you a breakfast burrito. So I'm going to try and see if that works. I think I might even elevate that. Like I might get swag or hats or something. So, just know that that's in the works, and we'll go from there. As we get into tonight, I just want to share what we're going to touch on. We're definitely going to touch on St. John Bosco and Bishop Gorman reacts, what that game meant, what it means for Gorman, what it means for Bosco. Is Gorman basically like the national champ now with their schedule? Does Bosco have a chance to get back in the mix? My guess is the answer is yes, but Gorman might have to stumble along the lines. Then we are going to touch on what happened at Bishop Amat with the, you know what? I don't even have my light on, dude. Tell me. Yeah, that's probably a little too much. Hold on. Everybody stand by. Yeah, that's a little better. Then what's happened at Bishop Amat with basically just a bad joke gone wrong. And I've got the photo, but we've guarded the young athletes in the photo, and I've kind of blacked out some things that make it more appropriate and not too crazy. So at least you'll get the context and the vibe of what the photo is, and then we'll let you guys be the judge. Aram and I will certainly talk about it. I have my opinion on it, which I actually don't think I don't think I have the most popular opinion, and I don't think Aram does either. So we'll talk about that tonight. What's the punishment for those kids, so on and so forth. And then we'll just talk about the big games this week. So Gorman Bosco reacts. Then we're going to talk Bishop Amat. Then we're going to talk, 2 or 3 big games this week. And then we'll get out of here close to 9, probably in about an hour. Thank you for being here. If it's your first time here or you're not subscribed, please just hit the subscribe button. What is nice is we've hit the subscriber goal of 3,000. We're up to 310 now. So I would assume the next goal, I just might make the next goal like 5,000. Maybe I do it in increments of 500. I don't know yet, but I'm going to let it sit there for now. That's all thanks to you. So I really appreciate it. That being said, let's get Aram on to the show and we'll talk more. There he is, Mr. Aram Tolegian. Go ahead, brother. Yeah. That was a big day for our family, man. We've what's funny, man? I used to go with my mom and my stepdad to Costco all the time. If my mom was going to go to grocery store and go to like Ralph's or, do the kind of like normal run, I'd be like, nah, I don't want to go. But Costco, oh man, I'm in. I would go. And it just, every time I would go in, I don't know, man, you're just tempted every time you go in there. That's at least my belief, right? The big screen TVs, the sales, the electronics. I mean, there's so much junk you can get in there. Clothes, So anyway, yes, my wife and I will share one story. We get a certain macaroni and cheese of the healthy nature for our children, and we usually get it at Whole Foods. Well, dude, it's like $4 a box. We'll buy like 3-4 boxes at a time. Our minds were blown when there was an 8-pack at Costco for $12. Dude, we were beside ourselves. We couldn't believe it.
Kids, obviously married. He has now been suburbanized. This is like the ultimate. I never would have thought Tarek and Bree would have a Costco membership. Just incredible, bro. I feel it's like the season debut of Roseanne. Yeah.
The chat might have not heard you early, but he asked me how me signing up to Costco went. So they heard me, so they could probably assume what your question was.
Okay.
But you're good now. You should be good now.
Okay.
I'm not seeing any more complaints now. But
yeah. I hope everyone just heard. It's just one of the biggest developments of summer is Tarek getting a Costco membership. He did it like not even, we talk a lot, Tarek, like almost daily or multiple times daily.
Sure.
I really would have thought I'd have heard something from you about this. Like, hey, today we're getting a Costco membership, or I'm thinking about it and stuff like that. But nothing. It just he did it, under the cloak of darkness. And if Tarek I just can't see you ever getting like a Costco hot dog and soda. I just can't see it.
Well, my daughter and I we had to go back for a little shop, and we got pizza. I couldn't believe like the pizza is like $2 a slice. I was beside myself. I'm not much of a hot dog guy, so I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm not I don't think it's but dude, I think they have like a baked chicken. If I'm like that looks good. I think I might try that out.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of that.
It's not very good. I'd imagine,
in my opinion, I know a lot of people like it.
I'd imagine like the bread's like, is the bread soft? Is it almost like kind of like a chicken pot pie in bread? Is that kind of what we're looking at?
More like an Italian slant to it. I think also with like bacon, like chicken and bacon, and sort of a cream sauce inside. Again, I'm not a fan, but the pizza I like. And that's the Aram combo: a hot dog and a slice of pepperoni pizza. The hot dog gets you the drink with it, so you're set there. And then also a soft serve with a chocolate chip cookie as well, and that'll cost you like $6.17. That's the beauty of it. But we just know, I mean, moving back to inside the warehouse or wherever in the shopping part of it, just not going to see Tarek getting the giant size Frosted Flakes. Like, that's not going to happen.
No. Yeah, no. Yeah, man, I will tell you, and then we got to move on because we could go on this for forever and everyone probably already hates us. But I will tell you, man, I used to be a huge cereal guy. 2% milk. I mean, I used to just pound cereal. And now, dude, I haven't, like, ever since I got married and my wife told me, like, she literally asked me, Aram, she goes, what other mammal drinks another mammal's milk? And I was like, oh, yeah. She's like, not really a natural thing. And like the whole, like, it like builds your calcium, bunch of baloney. Yeah. It's the truth. It's a bunch of baloney. So I was like, oh, so yeah, man, so out went the milk, which actually made me feel better. Like I felt like less bloated. I felt like there were so many things that I felt better about not drinking milk all the time with my cereal. But anyway, so yeah, no on the Frosted Flakes, but that's okay. That's okay. Aram, we're gonna shift gears here now. Everybody, welcome
Let's
in.
Shift.
We're getting some numbers in here, and I appreciate that. So look, man, we know the big game was Bosco Gorman. We're gonna recap the game here in a little bit of a different way. Aram and I are gonna try something this week. Hopefully that you guys like it. And then, but before we get there, and we'll kind of after the recap talk more, but just kind of 1 or 2 comments before we dive into the recap.
1 or 2 comments from me?
Yeah. Just to kind of like tee it up per se.
Okay, so last weekend, just, I'm sure a lot of I was on the road. I covered San Clemente against Tustin. I was there. I was also updating the high school on SI website with live updates for Gorman and Bosco, which was pretty interesting. Funny moment during the game. I told the PA announcer at San Clemente, if you want to get some oohs and ahs from the audience, announce that Gorman is up 21-0 at halftime on Bosco. So he kind of looked at me like, should I trust this guy or what? Then he looked at my screen and saw the score on the screen and believed it. And he announced it. And sure as heck, after he announced Bosco 0, ooh, over the crowd. So yeah, very interesting. Yeah, we'll get more into the game, Tarek, after we run these highlights for everybody. But there's no shortage of opinions out there right now from people, and I'm not quite sure where the truth lies, and I will give you my opinion, here when we're ready.
Okay. God, I want to try something live real quick. I want to try something before we go into this. I want to try like a mic check. It's okay. You sound fine. We can hear you, but I want to try something real quick. So everybody bear with me. I really don't care because this is for the greater good of the stream. So I'm going to try something real quick. Okay, Aram, I need you to tell me about the horse racing a little bit. Give me a minute on horse racing, and let's see if the stream can hear you. Go.
So Saturday I went to Del Mar. I drove back down from San Clemente after the game to Del Mar. Struggled to get fast food. Saturday I went to Del Mar. Pacific Classic Day. That's their big $1 million race, biggest day of the meet. My good friend Janine Sahadi, the first female trainer to ever win a Breeders' Cup race, let me use her box seats, and it was just a blast. It was great to be down there. My longtime friend Michael McCarthy, a trainer, has won a lot of big races, couple Preakness Stakes, Breeders' Cups. I got to see him and his family down there as well. So it was great hanging with everyone.
Okay, let's see if that worked. Hold on, we're gonna get the verdict here.
Okay.
Okay, yes, okay, good. Okay, you guys can hear him talking about horses if he was at Del Mar. Okay, perfect. Okay, this is good.
I lost.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, because there's a setting that's gonna basically, I think, remember, Aram, when you were kind of coming in double all those episodes last year?
The echo, yeah.
Aram
the echo.
Yeah, so what it was is, it was so slight but noticeable. I wouldn't even call it an echo. It was really just a double. And so basically I was running like kind of 2 audio tracks over the same thing every time you were talking, so you could barely hear it. So right there, yeah, so I think I might have just figured something out. Hey, a year later, and we're still learning. So give me 1 second now.
So it wasn't my fault, everybody,
No,
just so you know, and all the people that, and you remember, Tarek, people tried to donate to my Get Aram like a mic fund, and Aram, it's just this fuzzy little thing, and you clip it on your shirt, and no one, it wasn't me, yo.
Okay, I think we're good now. I think we're good. Aram, tell me if you can see what we're gonna kind of roll with here in a second. You should be able to kind of see it. It should restart when I make it go live. Can you see it?
Yeah, I see it. Oh yeah.
Okay, all right. Guys, we're gonna have a little fun here, and let's see how it goes. This is the official recap with a little bit of elevated production on Bosco and Modern Day. Let's hope it goes.
Bosco and Gorman.
Sorry, Bosco Gorman. Oh God, I can't even tee it up right. I'm so infatuated with the production side of it. So
yes,
guys, Bishop Gorman, St. John Bosco. Here we go. So look, you're gonna see Bosco down 7-0 early. We jump ahead. How about Gorman? Strip sack in the back of the end zone. And now they are down 14-0. We move on. How about 21-0? Gorman absolutely pouring it on. And now things are in trouble for the Braves in Vegas.
That's 3-0 in soccer terms for the home team, Tarek.
Yeah, 3-0. So then Koa Malaulu, okay, he gets in on the mix. He throws a touchdown to the back of the end zone. How about a sign of life, but it doesn't come till middle of the third quarter for St. John Bosco. Koa didn't look good early. He was kind of running for his life. He finds a little confidence there. How about a little Malik Allen for the Braves? Makes one guy miss, gets up the left side of the sideline, touchdown. So now, a little bit of a role reversal here, flip script, the end of the third quarter, and now it's 28-21. I'm going to step aside for Jeff Kurtz. (28-28) now, Aram.
Momentum. She's wearing white.
A lot of green grass in front of DJ Tubbs. Gets to about the 5-yard line and kind of just gets into the end zone. But how about a little poetic justice? Bishop Gorman would run away with it. It's Corey Hinton Jr., a once-upon-a-time St. John Bosco player. He gets into the end zone. He makes it 35-28. Final score, 38-28 for Bishop Gorman. They win the ball game, and they are now the #1 team in the country. Aram, your thoughts?
Yeah, not pictured there. Maximiliano Fuentes, the place kicker for Bishop Gorman, who has no college offers, sticks a 49-yard field goal. They sent him out. I wouldn't even send out a high school kicker to try a 19-yard field goal. They send him out from 49. Tarek, if he misses, Bosco's getting the ball back down 7 with 2 minutes left. And maybe they have a chance to go and score. Maybe they have a chance to score and go for 2 and win the game. You don't know. What a gutsy call by head coach Brent Browner of Bishop Gorman to rely on the kicker. And the guy sticks it straight down the middle. No offers is not going to last for long, dude. He's going to be offered very, very soon, probably multiple times.
We got a donation on the burrito raffle. So we're 1 for 10. We're looking for 10 donos on the burrito raffle. I think that's our guy.
Mega.
Yeah.
Mega Brock.
Yeah, it's Brock who chimes in. So thank you, Brock, for getting the momentum going on that. So thank you. Yeah, man, I think it was you I was texting. I don't remember, but they were down 21-0, and I feel like the game was always within reach. I just always felt like there was no way Bosco was going to just roll over and this game was going to be over. So I always knew there was going to be some fight there, and that's what well-coached teams do. They continue to fight. But I will say I was texting with Coach Negro on Saturday, and just kind of words of encouragement. He was just on our show on Sunday and just said, hey, Coach, tough one out there, but man, your team showed a lot of fight. You showed resilience. I think that's a sign of a well-coached team. Travel safe. And what he told me was actually we had a game plan. Not that it was their primary game plan, but what he told me was that they had a game plan if they had a 14-point hole. Like almost as if, and that to me again is like, man, I think that's good coaching. Like, hey, what are the scenarios we could be up against on the road here in triple-digit, weather and heat? And one of his scenarios was being down 2 touchdowns. What he didn't have a game plan for was being down 3 touchdowns. And he just said basically the hole was too big.
Yeah, I actually talked to Coach Negro today for an article that'll be coming out on high school on SI later this week. Tarek, I think the fallout from this game all depends on who you ask. There's a lot of people that feel like once Bosco was not sleepwalking after the first quarter, and maybe even the whole first half, that the real Bosco came out and, ultimately was equal or better, maybe even better. Like, had they played that game for all 4 quarters, they win the game. There's a lot of people that feel that way. I don't personally. I feel like when you looked at the teams across the board, Bishop Gorman is more talented. I don't think you're going to see a better team that checks all the boxes, right down to a place kicker who can hit a 49-yarder when his team needs to put the game away, right down to that. An offensive line that's all going to be playing on Saturday, a secondary that I think may have several guys, Brayley Manning, Camille Loud, they're all going next level. Of course, I think they're going to go NFL. eventually. These guys are outstanding just across the board. Very, very well coached. I came away saying they are the better team. They punched Bosco in the mouth. They got punched back. But ultimately, when push came to shove, and that was anyone's game in the fourth quarter, they scored the final 10 points of the game and won the thing. Maybe Bosco had tired out, but I get it. And like I said in the video that we did, sometimes early season games, especially between heavyweight teams, develop multiple personality disorder where you start thinking, the team that I saw in the first quarter is really us. The team that I saw in the first quarter in Bosco's case wasn't really us. That type of thing. But ultimately, I think right team won, deserving team won. I don't know. How do you feel? I mean, do you think the deserving team won?
Yeah, there's no question. They were the better team. I mean, they came out hot, and then they were able to. I mean, look, you could say, oh my gosh, they gave up a 21-point lead. I mean, it's St. John Bosco. It's a really good team. So to me, I'm impressed that not only did Gorman get out to a great start, but then they had enough resilience to keep St. John Bosco at bay. Okay, yeah, St. John Bosco got hot and scored some points. It's what you think St. John Bosco's gonna come to town and you're gonna like blow them out and you're gonna shut them out? No. So
Right.
you almost like a game of runs in basketball. When you're up big or you had your run, you just know the other team's gonna have a run too or a big play, and they did. Not only did they have some great offensive possessions, but that Tubbs punt return, that was a huge play. So you knew it was coming. So I got to give Gorman the credit for not only being able to not fold right on St. John Bosco's run, but then themselves get the touchdown to go ahead and then have a big stop later in the game that pretty much sealed the game. Did they have I know there was a big stop there. Did that come before or after the field goal?
They had gotten
did
the
their
ball
stop
back.
set up the field goal?
Yeah, I think Bosco was stopped on downs, and then Gorman
Yes.
got the ball back, and
Okay.
ultimately kicked the field goal, and then then I think Bosco was picked on its last possession. But I want to bring up something, Tarek.
Sure.
Bosco has lost its last 3 games. Okay, we saw last year that, and it's kind of crazy for all of us in Southern California. We saw last year that the gap has definitely, I mean, not even definitely, I mean, well, yeah, definitely closed. But Santa Margarita wins the whole thing. Okay, they win the whole enchilada. Modern day St. John Bosco not in the finals. For the first time in what felt like forever. They both seem human. Even Bosco. Bosco's lost its last 3 games. Tarek, they lost to Modern Day
Yeah,
to finish the regular season.
Yeah.
They
I was
lost to
there.
Orange Lutheran in
Yeah.
after the bye week in the playoffs, and now they've lost to Bishop Gorman to start this season. I guess what we need to ask
Didn't
ourselves, and I
realize
don't know
that.
if you have an opinion on this, is how far they've come back to the pack, because they've definitely come back to the pack. And we kind of lost sight of that going into this year, with everyone and me agreeing that, hey, they're number 1 in SoCal, so therefore they should be number 1 in the nation. And really, again, they're not. I don't think the better team when it comes to comparing them to Gorman as of right now. So I mean,
no, I don't think there's much to debate. You make a good point. I totally it just dawned on me when you said it that they've lost 3 in a row. So that is like, I mean, when's the last time they lost 3 games in a row? We'd have to, I don't know, probably never under Negro's time there. Maybe at the beginning or something when he first got there. But that is somewhat concerning. But look, the Olu loss. I will say this: if I'm like a Bosco fan, I will say 2 of the 3 losses are to absolute juggernauts in Santa Margarita, which was damn good. Okay, and arguably had the most electrifying high school football player in America last year in Trent Mosley. Okay.
no, it wasn't to Margarita.
No. Sorry, you're right. They lost to Orange Lutheran. Sorry.
No, they lost to Olu in the playoffs in Modern Day in week 10.
You're right. I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Modern Day, never any shame losing to Modern Day, though we know that they aren't as they're not running at the same speed that they once were. So, but that's a big time rivalry, and we know how those go. So, okay, the Olu game, yes, concerning. But dude, that was one of the biggest stormy nights Southern California had seen in like a decade. Okay. I was out there when Sierra Canyon, the reason I got mixed up, like Santa Margarita, I was out that night at Sierra Canyon, Santa Margarita, and that game was raining the whole game. And then we found out that Olu had beaten St. John Bosco. So that's kind of how my wires got crossed. So I'm not saying I want to give an excuse, but if I'm like a Bosco fan, I'm like, yo, losing to Mater Dei, hey, it happens. Pretty good football team. Definitely talented enough. They did lose that game at home, though, which is not good. Then Olu, weather. Holy cow, the weather. Like, bad weather. There were upsets all over SoCal that night, and I know you know that. Then Gorman on the road. So I would say the 3 losses definitely have some excuse, remnants to them, but that does not take away that they are 3 losses. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, and in their defense, they beat Santa Margarita 27-14, last year. How good does that win look, considering what Santa Margarita went on to go do? My thing is I put out a video last week, with an in-depth prediction on the game. Here's how Aram called it. This is brilliance personified. It's still up. You can see it. I had Bosco winning a 14-7 game. Not only was it not a low-scoring grinder that Bosco won, it was a high-scoring shootout that Bishop Gorman won. So you could not be more wrong than me. Thank God they don't post lines on high school games because I'd have just been wrecked. And that's the fun of it, Tarek. This is high school football. There's all kinds of variables and weird things that can happen. But I'm questioning now. I actually started to question it going into the game. Like the more I thought about it, like Friday evening, while I was driving down to the San Diego area. Why is St. John Bosco ranked? No, why does everyone feel that they're the number 1 team in the country coming into the season when they're coming off of 2 losses? I mean, are they that dramatically more talented than they were last year? No, they're still great, but
yeah, I think the answer to that was just a lot of the returners. Like they have a lot of varsity experience. Like their quarterback is in their 3rd year as a starter. Tubbs is back. Malik Allen's a juggernaut. And then they get the Elisha Mueller kid, the big offensive lineman. I think their whole offensive line returned. I don't think they have one new offensive lineman, if I'm not mistaken, other than Mueller, who's like a really high level. I think he's going SC or something like that. So to me, I think I certainly thought they were the number 1 team just because of the returners they have. You got the signal caller back there who's already got 2 years under his belt. He's coming into his 3rd year. And then you got that offensive line. And then I will say the only thing that to me was a little bit of a question mark was the defense, but they got a USC commit. They got some good, they got some DBs. They got a couple guys up front. So we saw the defense, struggle a little bit on Friday, but overall, I just thought offensive line, returning quarterback, man, that's more than anybody else has. So
do you still feel they're the best team in SoCal?
No, right now, I mean, I have to go with my own rankings. Right now, I think it's Corona Centennial. But as we damn well know, week 0 is always, well, is a victory more about the team that won, or is it more about the team that they beat? So, for example, is Servite really bad? Or are they a good team and Centennial thumped them? Sierra Canyon went on the road and beat J. Sarah. Is J. Sarah going to have a rough year? Or is Sierra Canyon damn good? I don't know. So the beauty about those 2 teams in particular is Sierra Canyon's got to get on the plane and fly to Florida and play Chaminade Madonna. I'm doing my top games to watch this week, and I'll just tell people that are watching, I picked Madonna to win the game. I don't think Sierra Canyon's going to go in there and win that. And if they do, okay, Sierra Canyon could be the real deal. Centennial's playing Margarita on Friday. What are we going to find out? Is Centennial actually good? Or, is Santa Margarita once again good, but no one really knows how good they are? Because that was the storyline last year. Mosley was out most of the year, and they kept, eking these wins out with, they were winning games like 3-0 and like 9-7 and like 6-3 and stuff like that. And those are all made up scores, but they were pretty damn close. I think they beat Mater Dei 7-6. Something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So, and then Mosley came and the offense started clicking. But the ace in the hole for that Santa Margarita team was Fafita's defense, man, and that defensive line. So I'm curious, man. I'm really, really curious. There's some other games out there this week that are going to tell us how good teams are.
Yeah, I still, St. John Bosco still number one in SoCal to me. I still think that, yeah, I think they're still going to win, the D1 open thing. I still think they're the best team in the state. So, what they just lost to was a juggernaut. I think Bishop Gorman is really that good. I just on looks alone. So, give me St. John Bosco versus the world. They're going to be better from the loss, of course. I think it's the best thing that could happen. But my question now to you is there any runway or enough runway for St. John Bosco to win the national championship at this point? Or should you just forget about that and just focus on winning state? First the Trinity League, then D1, and then state.
Yeah, I think.
What do you think?
Yeah, at this point, like, I mean, it's low-hanging fruit, but at this point, you have no choice but to take it 1 week at a time, especially because you lost. So I would think if Jason Negro, I'm not going to say he's happy he lost, but there could be an element, very cliche, kind of a silver lining. Hey, man, it's good that we were this number one ranked team. Probably our kids believed it a little too much. We go into Gorman, we lay a first half egg, we show some fight, which is good, but maybe it's good that these guys have tasted that they're not so great, because now they're really going to focus. So I don't know if they're going to end up like running the table from here on out, but clearly Gorman is not the juggernaut that they used to be. And you know what, man? I think that's good for high school football down here in Southern California. I think the parity is good.
Tarek, I don't even know who's deciding the national championship at this point. Again, this is all mythical, like right. Coach Negro likes to say.
It'll be like IMG Academy or like St. Francis or like Buford in Georgia.
No, but who determines that? Who votes for number one?
Most people just, I would say that the biggest national championship, like the most, what's the word, credible, mythical national championship is the one from Max Preps. If that's what you're asking. Is that the answer to your question? Yeah, okay.
Well, yes, partially, but that's not the answer to the question.
Oh, got
and
it.
The question is, who votes on these things? I don't think it should all belong to one publication. I don't think it should belong to a bunch. Okay. I think there should be a select group, maybe 5 to 10 guys that work for different companies, Max Preps, Rivals, HS on SI. You name it. I'm trying to think of the other ones. Maybe 5 to 10 people that ultimately decide it, because I'm not sure who is really determining number one, unless it's just obvious to all of us. There's a clear cut number one. Like if Bishop Gorman goes undefeated the rest of the way, which they probably should. The back end of their schedule is really not very good. It's just charter schools in Nevada, and we don't even know what sort of postseason it looks like. So we'll see. We will see. But hopefully there's a clear-cut way to decide it. And I happen to think, if Gorman goes undefeated, they'll kind of be your consensus number one. So
I don't disagree with. I think if they run the table, they'll be in the mix. But it might take. But there's going to be other programs that are national powers that run the table too. There'll be some other.
Maybe Santa Margarita. Yeah, maybe Santa Margarita, Tarek.
I kind of have a feeling. I'll say this now. This will be fun. I'll prognosticate here. I have a feeling the national champion this year will not be a Southern California team.
Okay, yeah.
I think they're going to beat up on each other. They're going to kind of cannibalize each other a little bit.
Yeah.
And so some undefeated team or juggernaut one-loss team is going to end up getting it like from like the South or like Florida or something.
Agreed.
Okay, Aram, we're going to shift gears here. We're going to talk about this Bishop Amat joke gone wrong. I think you can see it on the back end. Just know that's not live. I'm going to hit a button to make it live. So for those that don't know, there was a story. Our guy, Fred Robledo, reported on it. Other publications reported on it, maybe not to the same depths, but certainly like reported on it like via X and Twitter and so on and so forth. But I believe the archdiocese got involved, not the district, the archdiocese got involved at Bishop Amat. And essentially what happened, before I tell you or show you the photo, essentially what happened was two Bishop Amat players were basically taunting, I would call it, a St. Paul player who used to be at Bishop Amat. So they know this kid. And what they did is they posed in front of a whiteboard and they wrote kill and then the young man's full name, first and last. So it's this threatening, again, taunting, like we're going to get you kind of tone. But clearly when you write kill, that's going to be a problem. So I want to just leave it there for now, Aram, but I want to let you, any other further comment to tee it up before I show it?
No, not at all. Let's
okay.
go. Yeah.
So I'm going to show it here. So this is the photo. And again, I'm blocking out a lot here because these are young men. And so you don't see their faces, you don't see their numbers, and then you don't see the young man's name on the whiteboard. And this is certainly like making its rounds. So I think I'm good here by showing this, or listen, really not showing much to be honest with you, but you get the gist, you get the tone of the photo. So once again, you get the two Amat players, and then you get Kill, which you can see quite easily, and then the first and the last name. So this was the photo that made rounds. Aram, your take on this and what transpired, and just your thoughts on just the whole thing in general, I guess.
Yeah, so clearly this was never supposed to be seen publicly, okay? This type of, thing has been going on for decades at all levels of football, okay? It was never, I think back to the 49ers defensive coordinator, Tarek, I don't know if you remember that, where there was, no, I'm sorry, was he the Saints defensive coordinator? He was talking, they were playing the 49ers that week, and they got him, talking about, I hope I have this right. Their game plan, and you need to hit this player in the head and he'll tap out. I think he was referring to Frank Gore when he was a running back with the 49ers. Somebody in chat can help me clear up. But anyways, my point is that this has been going on for years in all levels of football. This never should have seen the light of day. Unfortunately, a bad error in judgment to do that. I'm not saying it wasn't, it's not wrong. It is wrong. But even worse is it gets out on social media and ultimately the thing blows up. Now, do I think it was overreacted to? Yes. I do not view this as like some horrible crime that should cost these kids any sort of time. If the team wants to suspend them for even a half of a game, which the game already happened against St. Paul, maybe that. I kind of don't even see that. To me, this is just a talking to moment. Like, hey, you realize this was stupid. It never should have got out. And ultimately we move on. But of course, in today's society, all it takes is one upset parent, and I can understand it. Like maybe a football mom, maybe, she saw it, or the dad, and just, flipped out about it because that's their baby. And I get that. But I think that's the point in the process where rather than I don't want to say kowtowing to them wanting blood and them wanting to, really throw, corporal punishment at these players, adults would step in and say, hey, look, we know this was bad. We know this was poor judgment. They'll be talked to. We're going to leave it at that. Okay. But that's not really how it was responded to. There was elevation in the media. There was, tweets by different people, in media that were, trying to make this thing blow up and be worse than what it should have been. And ultimately there was action taken and the archdiocese gets involved. So I'm not trying to downplay it, but ultimately I think it was overreacted to. And I just think, Society needs to toughen up, Tarek. This is a tough game played by tough people with tough talk, and I happen to really think that the kid, who was mentioned here, I really don't think he probably was too upset about it. I think he understands. He's a football player too. This is normal football talk that should have never got out publicly. How about you?
I remember a story. Do you remember the name DeGabriel Floyd?
Yeah, of course. Went to
He
Texas. What
he
was it?
was a
Westlake, right?
monster linebacker at
Yeah.
Westlake, number one linebacker in the country. And I remember when I was at the Daily News, I asked him like, "Hey man, like what's up this year? What's your, just trying to chat with him." And he goes, "I actually have a QB hit list this year."
Yeah.
And I went, "What?" So I said, "Man, I'm writing about that." And he basically just knew all the quarterbacks of all the opponents on the schedule. And like,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't think, I remember talking to him. It's like, it's not like he intended, he wasn't like a hit list. He wasn't going to kill anybody.
Not a bounty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, I'm going to go after him. I'm going to sack him. I'm going to hit him hard. There was nothing malicious about it. He's just an ultimate competitor. And so I remember writing that story, and actually I got some flack for it. Like, why are you promoting this kid, like wanting to like kill people? It's like, that's not, no. So it got taken out of context, to your point on this. Look, I'm a little bit, not that I disagree. I think I'd like to hit a little harder on these guys. Definitely a coachable and teachable moment. I would suspend these kids a game, a half, just so they know that there are consequences. Because in life, there are consequences, even if it's a mistake you never intended to make, right? Like, even if your intention was to be funny and like be stupid amongst your buddies, maybe one that and it wasn't intended in this way, but you can still make a mistake with honest intentions. And sometimes there's consequences with honest intentions, right? So to me, that's a lesson learned by a young person. Like, hey, even though you didn't mean it, what you did was probably wrong. You still should be punished. So I'm cool with a game, so be it, and we move on. The other thing too is there were some media that kind of like passed judgment on this, and I am not okay with that. Not only judgment on the kids, but judgment on the administration, coaches, and teachers that have chosen life's work to love and coach and teach young people. And so from a media standpoint, I actually used to coach. I'm not like, we can call people. I used to coach basketball. I coached high school basketball for a little bit. I've coached middle school. All during college, I ran basketball camps over the summer to make money. I mean, I have coached. If I wasn't doing this, I'd be a teacher and a coach on a campus. No question. So I know what it is to get to a young person's level, try and understand what they were thinking, and try to correct them with some grace and some love, okay? You can punish someone with grace and love. In fact, most coaches and teachers, that's the way they should coach and teach, because you don't want to hurt that young person, but you want them to learn. So unfortunately, you have to enforce the rules, but you can do it with love, knowing that it's going to make them better. And so there were some media members out there that had the audacity to pretend they know what it is to coach, to pretend they know what it is to teach, and pass judgment on like education system and like come down holier than thou on the statement of the school and what it is to be a Catholic or a Christian. Totally out of line, totally out of touch. These kids definitely did a boo-boo, but they absolutely don't deserve to be kicked out of school. I slap on the wrist, again, maybe a game, half a game, tell them it's not okay, teach them, and move on. I think there are so many young kids that do stupid things every single day, and this is one of those stupid things. Actually, I'll take it one. If I was Corey Minor, what I would do is I'd make these kids, I'd get the phone, I would call this young man's parents and put these kids on speakerphone and make them apologize to the parents and the kid. Hey, our bad, not a good joke. We now know, we're sorry. And that's the end of that. That's what I would have done. Just kind of make them face the music a little bit, because this isn't cool.
Yeah, I'm not down with that. I think that would be a bit much. Just a public apology from the school on behalf of the kids, on behalf of the football program, and just say it was dealt with internally is enough for me. Because again, um, I know that this goes on. This type of language goes on with football teams, and has for years. It was not supposed to be publicly. I do not think their intention was to actually kill anyone. Um, you know, again, it's a violent sport played by violent people, with violent talk, and it gets settled and decided on the field. And Amat has always, in my opinion, been a very upstanding program and school athletically. And had that be different, had they been like the Miami Hurricanes or something, sorry, Chris, um, that might be different. But that isn't the case with Amat. So I would trust them to handle this and let it be done. So you know,
Yeah,
um,
it kind of reminds me of when a kid takes like something from like a liquor store or a candy store, and mom and dad or uncle and auntie or grandma and grandpa realizes that kid took a Snickers. I think there's an element of teaching where you kind of have to make that kid face the music. So I don't agree
yeah,
with you in regards to thinking that it's over the top, because I think sometimes you have to teach kids kind of how to like kind of tolerate the tension and embrace the awkwardness, even though it wasn't intended, and you thought it was going to be funny. It's like, well, there's real consequences. So now you have to go do something you don't want to do. And so sometimes I think when a school or an adult steps in front of that and protects that kid from that awkwardness, no teaching is done. No coaching's been done. You got to make the kid do it. And that kid's not going to want to experience that anymore. And that's what I think. That's why I would make them do it. But I hear you. I hear you.
yeah.
Yeah. You've never coached
And
a kid, have you?
On the field, Tarek, 55-0 Bishop
Yeah,
Amat.
yeah, yeah. So
And
they killed him on the scoreboard.
yeah, they killed him on the scoreboard, and they have a huge game coming up this week against Oak Hills that's going to tell us way more than what the St. Paul thing did. And if Bishop Amat can win that game, buddy, you can expect the numbers and the live numbers in this show every week to go up by about 25 people because that bandwagon can really get going. It's really fun to see. So hopefully Bishop Amat's back under Corey Minor. We're going to find out on Friday, dude.
I've got Oak Hills at like 25 or 24 in my top 25.
Yeah.
And I specifically left them right there because I thought, ooh, if Amat can beat them, bam, I'll put Amat right in there. And so yeah, that is a fun game I'm looking forward to. Aram, now we're gonna switch gears here. Let me get the chat back up so they can see themselves on the screen. I know they really enjoy that. 1 second here. Okay. We're right on time, man. Let's go another 10-15 minutes here, and just talk about the big games this week. To me, there's really only a few. Let me pop them up here real quick.
Yeah.
These are the 5 I picked to write about: Margarita Centennial, Sierra Canyon Chaminade Madonna, Oaks Christian Rancho Cucamonga. Not because of its like, ooh, it's a juggernaut game, but there's a storyline there for me. Chaminade and Valencia, which is up more my way, and that's just, both teams are unbeaten and good. Then the other one is Servite and Murrieta Valley. They're both 0-1, and they're both notable programs that probably don't want to slip to 0-2. Those are some of the ones that I picked out. Did you have one, maybe even in the SGV that you felt is worth mentioning?
Well, I think I just did with Bishop Amat, and Oak Hills. Overall, no, not really. I mean, the game that everyone really wants to kind of see this week is Santa Margarita and
That's the game. That's
yeah,
like the
that's
game
the
of the week. I
game.
think that one's on like Spectrum and blah 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 blah, I think.
Yeah, I just, I just, I don't know, man. Like when you pick these types of things, like I just feel like Carson Palmer's so sneaky.
He
You
is,
wrote
dude.
something about he's so sneaky, man. Like you just can't put. I just don't want to put any stock into last week's game for them. Workman like win. ho hum. And now you're going up against this Centennial team that is I don't want to put down the skill players they had last year, but these two guys, this QB and especially the receiver Hale, who's the high school version of Cam Coleman, this August. I want we're gonna find out, Tarek, right here, what the truth is with these two teams. Has Margarita fallen? Has Centennial really taken the next step? I need to see Hale do this against Santa Margarita. And I need to see Santa Margarita, be able to put up 27, 30 points against a Centennial. Fascinating game. Great coaching. God, really outstanding game.
Yeah, that's the game. I kind of wrote my preview already. I picked Centennial to win the game. I think the biggest question mark is actually Fletch Palmer.
Yeah. How good is he, or isn't he? Yeah.
This will be a real test for him. And if I'm Corona Centennial, I'm trying to do everything I can to make him look like a deer in the headlights. I don't know if it's pre-snap. I don't know if I'm blitzing him. I don't know what the deal is. My guess is, of course, to your point, Carson Palmer is going to have his son ready, whether it be multiple game plans or just quick game, whatever the case may be. They do have a great running back in Jayon Smith. So they have a running game, but dude, I'm telling you, I think their defense is monstrous again. And they have unbelievable specimen freshmen on their defense, dude. Unreal.
Yeah.
So I think that defense is really, really good again. I think it's going to come down to Fletch Palmer. It's in Corona, if I'm not mistaken. It's not in Orange County. It's going to be hot. I think Jaden Jefferson's a monster of a problem because not only in the Matt Logan offense are things fast, but the Dominic Catalano last year, athletic, and capable, but he ain't Jaden Jefferson. So I just think the arm and the legs, major problem. And then, dude, you've got, a high school version of Des Bryant out there in Quentin Hale. It's the one-handed catch he made.
Yeah.
Did you? I mean, it's just something
of
out
course.
of a movie.
That's like Cam Coleman, the receiver at Texas that went viral for that one-handed grab in practice, and Quentin Hill goes out and does the same damn thing.
Little dramatic, but I actually thought of Michael Irvin making the catch in Longest Yard with Adam Sandler in the desolate, jail yard. I don't know if you remember that scene, but they kind of obviously they choreographed it, but he goes up, and kind of his back's arching. It was really an epic catch, man. So I'm excited for that game. For me, it's Centennial, but here's what I'll say. Both teams are gonna, this is what I love about great coaching, man, in all sports. Both teams are a shell of themselves right now. Matt Logan, Carson Palmer, those teams are going to be so much better week 9, week 10. So that, to me, it's even if they, whoever wins, I'm not even going to put that much stock in it. They're going to be way different come at the end of the year. And I mean that in a good way. Let's not forget, this is going to be the third time these teams have played in the last calendar year. They played early last year, and Centennial lost in overtime. I think it was 33-27. Then they played in the final at the Rose Bowl, and that game wasn't even close. 42-7, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe 41-7. And Santa Margarita won. So, this is a repeat of the Division I final. Aram?
Is there any player out there in the Southern section who has more pressure on him this year than Fletch Palmer? His dad is Carson Palmer, college football legend,
right.
Santa Margarita grad. He's, gets the nod over another kid in a QB battle, and he's stepping in as the starting QB. Big question mark position for a team that just had a monstrous season last year. Kid has a ton of pressure on him, and here's his first big spot, and we're gonna see. And I think Jefferson and Hale have a lot of pressure on them too. Tarek, you mentioned the kids that were there last year in the skill spots, maybe not overall as talented as pure talented as Hale and Jefferson, but they were up to the task in big spots. They came through. Can Hale and Jefferson prove that they can come through in these huge spots on the biggest stage, going up against talent that they don't just tower over in Hale's case, or speed by in Jefferson's case. They got something to prove here. Fascinating game that's gonna mean a lot towards the D1 picture. So yeah, outstanding.
Let's kind of pick a couple more here, and then we'll call it a night.
What was your angle on Rancho and Oaks Christian? You said there was some angle that
I
you
like
had
how you
there.
were kind of interested about that. Look, man, I hate to, I think out my way, Aram. People always kind of think I'm hammering Oaks Christian. I really like everybody at Oaks Christian, but I'm a little bit the Scott Wolf of like Oaks Christian football. I'm always asking them for more. Like, it's never good enough. And that's how I feel Scott Wolf is always about USC football. He's kind of just like a curmudgeon about it. They could win the national championship and he'd be like, they only won by 3 points. It's like, and he'd find something to pick about. I'm not quite that bad, but Oaks Christian, remember, they had Jim Banker. They were rolling, won a Division II title. Then Charlie Collins was the coach. I don't remember Charlie Collins. He was there for, I think, 8 years. It was like 3 years too long. They weren't good. Then they let him go. So then the big question was, who are they going to hire in the offseason? Okay, and everyone thought they were going to bring in Rick Clausen. They were going to bring the Clausens back to Oaks Christian. I talked with Rick. I talked with Casey. They were going to bring Jimmy on the staff. I mean, it was going to be a just welcome celebration. They go with Rudy Carleton, okay? Rudy Carleton, up like the nicest guy on the planet. So nice. Everyone loves him. Great. He was the offensive coordinator at J. Sarah, okay? So 2 things. They hire Rudy Carleton, stick with me. And what that does is, if you literally go to Google Maps right now and type in Oaks Christian, and you just zoom out like twice, tap, tap. Across the street, literally, is Westlake High School. I could grab a tennis ball and go, whoom, and it'll bounce and hit the fence of the school. What is not good for Rudy Carleton, and I don't care, the president of Oaks Christian can come on here. He'd be wrong, okay? The problem with hiring Rudy Carleton isn't Rudy Carleton. The problem is the Clausens were in the mix for that job, and you didn't hire them. And they're across the street building a powerhouse, and it costs no dollars to go to Westlake High School. That's the problem with hiring Rudy Carleton. So now Westlake is rolling and has Division I commits at the Division I quarterback, and Oaks comes out and loses 18-0 to Chaminade. Okay, now I don't want to at all hit the panic button, nothing like that. But something about this game, you're going to go on the road to Rancho. Is it going to be ugly? Are you going to show that your team's capable? You were a previous offensive coordinator and your team scored 0 points? Okay, wait a minute here. I'm just speaking truth. So to me, that's a storyline that's really interesting to see about Oaks Christian. Is it going to get embarrassing out there, or are they going to show a little sign of life? Because 0-2 is going to feel real heavy if they lose big again.
Does Oaks Christian have money, Tarek?
Abso-freaking-lutely. It's in Westlake Village. Their campus is like a college. Yes, they have the resources. But again, I think the Clausens, this is speculation, I think the Clausens have made it an absolute just issue. Like, we're not letting any kids with talent go to Oaks. They're coming to Westlake. And not to mention, the big bad team in Ventura County is who? I'm going to let you answer that question.
Sierra Canyon? Pacifica?
Yes,
oh, okay.
Pacifica.
Yeah, okay. Of Oxnard, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Wow. I thought you'd be excited. I thought you'd be a little more
no,
excited about that.
The Ventura County thing threw me.
We'll cut that
if
out
you'd
of the
have just
show.
said like,
We'll cut it out.
If you'd have just said up that way, I would have had Pacifica. But the Ventura County thing, like, makes it. Are they? Yeah. Okay.
No.
Yeah. Of course they are.
They're in Oxnard. They're even more north than Oaks Christian.
Yeah.
The point is anyone even in the vicinity that's talented, Oaks Christian is not. Oaks Christian used to be the go-to private school for anyone talented. Even in the north side of the San Fernando Valley, they would travel up the 101 and go to Oaks Christian. Or deep into Ventura County, they would travel south and come to Oaks. That ain't happening right now, dude. And if anyone's traveling, by the way, I will tell you right now, Jim Baker gets kids from that area to come to Simi Valley. And when he was at Westlake running his powerhouse program, he'd get kids from Simi Valley to come to Westlake. So my point is there's just something about that first loss that makes me scared for that program. And I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, my point in asking you that was, let that be proof that just having money alone is not going to get it done for a high school football program. So it goes back to the whole discussion of Bishop Gorman last week, and these teams, we don't want to play them. We're bowing out of the division. Look, you can have all the money in the world, like Oaks does, and it doesn't guarantee football success. There has to be a coaching staff in place. There has to be the right culture. There has to be a way to get the talent to your place. This is why I don't diminish. Like, people just think that Coach Ellinghouse at Sierra Canyon just has a yellow brick road to his place. In some cases that's true, but the guy delivers. They have a hell of a program. They develop kids. They send them to the next level. They get kids in. They do everything you need to do. So if it was so easy to be Sierra Canyon, everyone would be doing it.
Right,
you have
right,
Oaks Christian semi nearby, sort of your same area, your at least coverage area, and they can't seem to figure it out right now. So it's not as easy as it looks, or else everyone would be doing it. That's my point. Took me a little while to get there.
No, well, the other thing too, I'll say one more thing and then we'll move on. But the other thing too is I I don't want to judge Rudy Carlton on this year because I don't think he made this schedule. I think the schedule in year 2 and 3 for him will indicate what the program's trying to accomplish. By the way, it doesn't get any easier. They play, listen to this, Aram, Rancho Cucamonga, then they play Bakersfield of Liberty of Bakersfield, always a solid program. Then they play Notre Dame Sherman Oaks, another Mission League team. Then they play Sarah Gardena, another Mission League team. So there's no easy games there, man. These guys could be looking down the barrel of, a rough start, man.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, but I don't think Rancho Cucamonga for Oaks Christian is such a ridiculous, team to schedule. I mean, it's something they should be able to handle. But Tarek, man, I don't mean to diminish history and stuff like that, but when Oaks Christian was winning its championships in the early 2000s, that was back when divisions were just a disaster.
Correct.
They were beating Oak Park in, the championship game, and Oak Park was beating Covina in the semifinals. Their division was a formality. So how great were they really anyways? I mean, they had some D1 guys.
Damn good players.
Yeah, I know, but
I wouldn't even say
wasn't like
I don't know, man. I'm gonna kind of pull rank on you here. They won the Division II championship. They had Zach Charbonnet and Kayvon Thibodeau on the same high school team, and they were damn good. Now, were they winning Division I? No. But the standard I want to hold that program to is like, dude, Division II, Division III, they should not be down in Division V.
Right. But I'm referring more to, before the Charbonnet Thibodeau teams. I'm referring more to like, your early, mid 2000s.
The Jimmy
04, 05.
Yeah, they had Jimmy Clausen. They had
yeah, great player.
They had Mark Tyler.
Great player.
I don't remember Mark Tyler.
Yep. Right.
They had some dudes, man. Chris Potter was a pretty good player. He went to Boise State. I don't know if you remember him, but yeah, they've had their years, man. They've had their years. Chris Forr's going. Yeah, were they really in the mix for that job though? The answer is yes. Okay, let's pick one more game. I'm not even gonna expand. Okay. Okay. Marietta Valley. You want to is there a game you like, or I see this Servite Marietta Valley game. I thought it's kind of interesting. We could talk Sierra Canyon, Chaminade, Madonna. Maybe what that does for like the southern section if Sierra Canyon comes away with a victory there.
I feel like you're putting me on the spot, but Tarek, I really do think I'm not just not homering because I'm in Vegas. I'm not in the SGV, but to me, that Oak Hills Bishop Amat game is one of the most interesting of the week.
Okay, yeah, I do
want to bring up.
What's wrong with that?
Okay, fine. Yeah, no, but I mean, I already kind of, discussed it and the stuff at play with it. I do want to bring up, a result from last week, that may sting for some. Did you see Cream Lutherans win?
Oh yeah, dude, they won like 41-6, and Ty Johnson had like 11 catches for 1,000,000 yards and two scores or a touchdown or something.
Yeah, 31-6 over Loyola. And that was kind of surprising to see from Loyola. The question is, how good is Crean? I mean, we
Yeah.
seem to be asking this every year, but there's a lot of people out there that think, they could be top 5, 7-ish in SoCal this year. Yeah, I know you're
I've
kind
got
of.
no. I've got them at like 8 or 9 in my rankings right now, man. They got the talent. They have resources. They're clearly trying to make waves. The quarterback's dad over there is making things happen. That's no secret. So yeah, we'll see what they're capable of. I've always talked about this, and I think you've heard me. People even on this channel have heard me talk about like pedigree. You have to develop a pedigree.
Sure.
Sierra Canyon's been developing that pedigree for years. Sierra Canyon, I was actually talking about this with a friend. They've certainly like they beat Jay Sarah now. They've beaten Servite. I think they beat Olu last year. The teams they can't beat right now or have not beaten, which is true, they have not beaten a Mission Viejo. They've never beaten a Corona Centennial. They've never beaten a Bosco or a Mater Dei. They've beaten everyone else. It just takes stacking your chips a little bit to just get to that big boy football, and then not only get there but then win the games, and then not just win a game, win like 2 or 3 in a row. And so to me, Crean Lutheran, they're talented, and if they don't, if more of these teams beat up on each other, hey man, they could get pulled up into Division 1, and I don't think it'll go well for them.
Tarek, the word on the street was, last week when the whole Bishop Gorman is the 7th Trinity League team, the word on the street was Crean Lutheran will be the 7th Trinity League team before Bishop Gorman.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, the high hopes that are had for this program that, like you said, keeps, knocking on the door and, trying to break through. And wow, they could be really, really something to see this year after that first win. So yeah, just wanted to bring up Crean Lutheran. They got to be on the radar.
So
Yep.
okay, you like Amat for the Oak Hills game?
No, I actually picked Oak Hills because I need to see Amat get over this hump. This is traditionally, well, I shouldn't say traditionally. That's very wrong when it comes to Amat. This is recently the stumble spot for them. They can kick butt against a team that's semi-local like St. Paul or whoever, and get these wins and wake up the echoes. But when there's a little bit of a step up, a lot of times recently they've had trouble. If they get over this hump, which they very well could, I think this is a one possession game either way. If they get over this hump, you better start to take notice of what Corey Minor is doing and that coaching staff. They have got it working, and this is a spot for them.
I like Corey Minor, man.
Yeah, I do too. How can you not?
Yeah, I like him.
He's come in and hit the ground running. It's great.
No question.
Yeah,
no question.
Would love to see Bishop Amat rolling again, buddy, and so would you. So would all of SoCal. It's a lot of fun.
I will say, man, it was so fun being at that St. Paul game. Was that last year already? Yeah, I think it was.
Last year.
Yeah, that was fun, man.
2 years ago, you and Freddie came over and we ate dinner at my house, and I had to work, and you guys went to the game at St. Paul. That St. Paul won, and just isn't that crazy how things change? It's gone from St. Paul winning, I guess what you would say 2 years ago, to Amat turning the table in style last year, to really just 55-0 this year. That's how quickly Minor has turned things around. And yeah, it's great to see.
Last ad here, just a tidbit, just rough week 0 for the new coaches. Hardy Nickerson at Jay Sarah, they get blown out. Rick Garrettson at Servite, blown out. Carlton at Oaks Christian, shut out. I think there's a couple others. I think Matt V had a rough start over at Mirror.
Yeah.
there's a few others, but there was others that won debuts as well. I think Dean Harrington won for St. Bernard. I actually think a great story, Jasmine Gamble at Hawthorne, the women's coach. She's a woman, coach, the head coach of a varsity football program. They won.
Yep.
So there were a couple wins, certainly wins and losses to say. But some of the new notable coaches. Also, Ray Fenton. They lost to Miami Central, but I think they lost 23-22. I don't know if, I'm sure that game could have gone either way, and I think Miami Central knows how to play a little football. So,
and our buddy Coach McBride over at Bishop Montgomery, they fall 43-0 to Segerstrom.
I did not know that. Well,
yeah,
I got to do a little digging. I've been hearing that there's a little more, not drama, but a little more. Not even problems. I think he's even more challenged than he previously thought. I don't think they're going to have lower levels. I don't think they have enough kids to do lower levels. I think they're going to have to pull up all the young players and just have one varsity team, which stinks because some of those kids aren't ready for varsity. So they're just not, you know what I mean? So they're not going to be able to just play football. But I got to check on that. That's just what I'm hearing. I hope I'm wrong. Aram, any final thoughts before I let you go, man? Let's get out of here before 9:20.
Yeah, my final thoughts are it's great to be back. Like I said last week, my favorite time of year. This is my enjoyment of life. And it was just really awesome to be out at a place like San Clemente last week, where it really is one town, one team, whole community feel. Really, really fun to be out there and see that crowd and watch some high level football. So, Tarek, I'm just really thrilled and feel very blessed to, be a part of this show and other things and this high school football season and share it with everybody.
Aram, enjoy the rest of your evening. We will see you next week.
Thanks, Tarek. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, guys. Let me turn this down a little bit. I feel like it's a little loud. There we go. Maybe not. There we go. Guys, really appreciate the support. I'm tired. Yeah, I got a busy week. For anybody that's a golfer out there, I just want to share. I'm playing LA Country Club tomorrow. Very, very, very just pretty honored about that. Pretty cool that this person invited me out. Super humbled by it, super generous. So I'm going to go play LA Country Club. For those that don't know anything about golf, I'm not even kidding. It will probably be the top golf experience of my life is to get on at LACC, which is just so difficult. So very exclusive and hope I can just even have a decent round out there and have a little fun. So I'm doing that tomorrow. I'm in the CBS studio on Tuesday, Thursday, then back out for the high school spotlight at Westlake High School on Friday morning. I think a lot of you guys saw I was at Norco High School last week. So super blessed by all the work, man. Really appreciate all your guys' support. I do have a dream per se that Fattal Factor will one day be on CBS LA. I think if it's possible that this turns into full-time TV, at CBS, which is my dream job, and I'm certainly working my way towards it. Then maybe that one day Fattal Factor will be on CBS LA. We'll have a legit high school sports show on a local major network. That'd be cool. And our guy Aram, I won't sign the deal unless Aram can be on it with me too. But guys, I am so blessed to have you guys watching our show. I really, really mean that. Thank you so much. We have a lot of fun on here. And just know we always try and keep it light. Yeah, we talk about some serious things, but we always try and keep it light. And that's my saying. You know how it goes. To never take yourself too seriously. Take the job seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. Take the job seriously, but don't take yourself too seriously. Have a good night.